if you're watching from anywhere else, Twitch is the only place where I'm monitoring the chats, okay? So if you've got any questions, best place for you to watch this is at Twitch, the URL of which is just jackiem.live, L-I-V-E, and that will take you to my Twitch page. The long URL for Twitch is twitch.tv/JackieMFood, okay? So I'll give a couple of seconds while people join us. Hang on. And let's have a look. Channel. Okay, looks like I'm live. Okay, all good. If you've got any problems hearing me, let me know. And thanks again for joining me. And today, being Friday, Sydney time, I am doing another vegan recipe. And this is a new one on me. I think I've tasted it before and it was quite delicious. And I'll talk a little bit more about Asian vegan food, okay, while I go on. But what I'm making today is what's called vegan roast duck, or vegetarian roast duck. It's technically vegan. So I know it sounds a little bit like a contradiction in terms, because what's the deal with the, vegan duck, right? But we Asians, and I've mentioned this in a few of my vegan broadcasts before, we Asians, when we go vegetarian, we don't have any qualms about trying to replicate the flavors of animals, okay? And this is one of them. So I remember growing up as a kid in Malaysia, where we once a year we would go to the local Buddhist temple, and the monks would prepare a whole bunch of vegan dishes. And my memory of it, it's very, very hazy, having said that, mind you, but I remember the food being very, very delicious. But they were all based around thanks for hosting me, but they're all based around recreating meat-based dishes using vegan ingredients, okay, or kind of like, stuff that are made to taste like meat. So this is one of them. And I'm not a Buddhist, by the way. I'm a born-again Christian. But for those of you who are wondering about this, if you're familiar with Asian food, you may be familiar with Asian roast duck, the kind of duck that you see, barbecue duck that you see hanging from shop front windows, sort of thing. So this basically attempts to try and replicate that flavor, but using essentially beancurd skin, okay? This is what it looks like. Here you go. If you can see it, beancurd skin. You should be able to find this quite easily at Asian grocery stores, certainly here in Australia. There are a few different varieties. I like to get this one. Thanks for hosting me. I like to get this one because it's pliable. There are other ones that are quite crunchy, okay? And those crunchy ones you would need to soak to soften them before you can use them. But of course, once you soak them, they become wet and sloppy, and you're gonna pat them dry and all that. This to me is kind of like an instant, like beancurd skin that you can use straight out of the pack. The downside with this is once it's exposed to air, it will start to crisp up very, very quickly, okay? So if you only use half a pack and then you put the other half away, you'll find that it'll crisp up by the time you decide to get around to it the next time. Then you'll have to soak it and all that. Now, as far as the ingredients that go into this, like I said, this is my first time making this, so hopefully it turns out. And before I go on any further, just a quick shout out to Lenovo Australia for the laptop I use for my live broadcast. I'm using a gaming laptop. It's a Lenovo Y700, in case anyone who's interested in doing this sort of stuff, right? If you want to talk to me about my equipment setup and all that, I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. And I use another Lenovo desktop to actually monitor my, it's a desktop plus tablet. It's a very, very cute little setup actually, and it's a Yoga Home 500 I use to monitor the chat and all that, right? So anyway, the kind of ingredients that go into this, they're going to be a combination of sweet and savory, right? And some spice as well, which is fundamentally 5-spice powder, if you're familiar with it. 5-spice powder is quite pungent. It's contains like cinnamon and star anise and all that. And also it uses another ingredient which may be a little bit exotic to most people. It's actually a little bit exotic to me. This is red bean curd. Okay, I'll just show you. I'll open it up and show you what it looks like. But you will see them at Asian grocery stores, right? And they look like little square cubes. They look like cubes sitting in a jar. And they're basically fermented bean curd. There's two varieties. The one I grew up eating was the normal white fermented bean curd, and that we usually would eat with congee, right? So it's just like a really kind of like, it's almost an acquired taste. It's a little bit, it's kind of like soft and mushy, and it's very, very salty. And if you can imagine bean curd that's fermented, it's quite strong flavored, so you only eat a little bit of it, and with some white congee or something. But red bean curd, which is what this is, smells almost like, very, very strong. You can't see it at the moment. I'll fish it out for you. And the other ingredients I'm using are just tomato sauce. I'm following a recipe, by the way. This is the book that I'm using. You might be interested in checking it out. I bought this, I don't know, in Singapore or Malaysia. The English is a little bit odd. It says 80 great vegetarian cuisines, and it's got a whole bunch of recipes about making all these kind of like, like what I just said, these mock meat bases, right? And one of them is the vegetarian or vegan duck, right? So that's what we're attempting today. So hopefully it turns out. And don't forget, my website is just jackiem.com.au. That's where I post all the recipes for my live broadcast. If you've got any friends who's interested in Asian cooking but is a vegan, I do this like once a week, okay? So make sure they follow me. The rest of the week, I do non-vegan Asian food. So I need the bean curd sheets, and I'll open it up at the last minute so you know what it looks like and all that, how it opens up, right? But first I'm going to make the paste that we're going to slather the bean curd sheet with, right? And in the meantime, I've got this pot here. This is a tabletop steamer. It's just got some water in here, the steaming basket. And I'm going to put the sheets that I've done up in here, and I'm going to steam them. And after that, I'm going to deep fry them as well. So a couple of steps involved here. Hang on. So a couple of steps involved here. And don't forget, got any questions, hit me up and I'll try and answer them. But I'm not a vegan myself, but I just like the challenge of trying to, do something a little different with Asian food, right, for those who are vegan. So in here, I need one piece of this red bean curd. Let me just see if I can fish it out. It's very fragile, right? Okay. Let me see. And this is something that even I didn't grow up eating, okay? I knew of it, but I knew of it as in that it is a very pungent version of the normal white bean curd I get, okay? So you see it's in a cube, right? So I'm going to crush it and mix it up with everything else. So that's that. And then I want some tomato sauce. 1 tablespoon apparently. And you'd be surprised, we use tomato sauce a little bit more frequently than you would expect, right? You tend to associate the tomato sauce or ketchup with Western food, but in fact, it's actually quite, not dominant, but it does feature in quite a few Asian recipes, and there's some speculation that tomato sauce is technically actually an Asian invention, okay? So that's why it's in here. Okay, cool, right here. Just the other ingredient I'm going to use, right, is say salted bean paste, and this is one of the challenges of trying to tackle Asian cooking for someone who's just kind of like starting out, right? Read on the recipe, it says salted bean paste, right? And this one here, it says soya bean sauce, okay? Soybean sauce is the same thing, okay? So if you've got any questions at all about soybean, about any kind of Asian ingredients, hit me up. I should be able to point you in the right direction because the same ingredient can go under a few different guises, okay? This is basically fermented soybeans, okay? And it does come in a few different forms. Sometimes you'll find them a little more yellow, sometimes they're a little bit more whole, sometimes they're a bit more pasty, but for all intents and purposes, this will work for this particular recipe, okay? And failing, like if you can't find this, right, you can in fact, I like to use hoisin sauce. Okay, hoisin sauce literally in Chinese means seafood sauce, but there's no seafood in it. Okay, so if you're vegan, don't freak out. It's not actually a seafood ingredient. Just hang on a sec. Okay, is someone having problems hearing me? Okay. Oops, I just moved something here. I don't know why you're having trouble hearing me, because I'm told that my other viewers hearing me okay. Just testing again. Okay, yeah, let me know if anyone else has problems hearing me. Okay, yeah, that'd be great. And thanks for watching, Bray Dog. So I've got the hoisin sauce. If you're vegan, don't freak out. Even though it means literally hoisin seafood sauce, there's no actual seafood in it. But essentially, hoisin sauce is made from soybeans as well. So it's fermented soybeans, but it's got things like chili and garlic and all that. I quite like it. So I'm going to add a little bit of this to it. It's a little bit sweeter than your straight out soybean paste, okay? So I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of that in there. It's also partly because I didn't have quite enough of the soybean sauce left in that jar. So I'm topping it up with this a little bit. But just hang on. But a lot of the time you'll find with Asian vegetarian cookbooks like this one here, the recipes will not contain garlic or onion, and the reason for that is that there's certain, because these cookbooks are based on Buddhist recipes, and there are certain like Buddhist groups that their definition of vegetarianism excludes the use of onion and garlic, right? And I think that educated guess, that's why they don't say hoisin sauce, right? Because hoisin sauce does in fact contain garlic in it. So that's that, and then what else? I'm going to add sugar. So about 3 tablespoons of sugar. According to this recipe, I'm just following this straight out from the cookbook, guys. So don't blame me if this looks dodgy. There's this here, and then I want 3 tablespoons light soya sauce. Okay, again, this is one of those things that people get a little bit confused about. This is a superior light soya sauce. Oftentimes, light soya sauce, you can tell it's light soya sauce by its consistency. It's just like, you know, it's like your regular straight out soya sauce. Sometimes they can be quite dark, and sometimes they can be quite treacly. Those are not the ones you want. Light soya sauce is basically your standard soya sauce. Like I say, a lot of the time it's just labeled soya sauce, and that's well and good, okay? You don't want sweet soya sauce. That's a different animal altogether. So soya sauce, and I want 5-spice powder. Now a little goes a long way with 5-spice powder. I don't generally like to, I mean, there's some recipes that call for 5-spice powder that I omit altogether. I omit the ingredient altogether because I don't think that you need it, but a lot of the time. This is what it looks like, right? So if you don't have it, leave it out. It's not a big deal. This is one of those days when my nose is going to start getting sniffly again. So about half a teaspoon of that. And I want some pepper. Okay. And I want some sesame oil. So this is my sesame. This is like the cheaper variety of sesame oil, by the way. There are different grades of sesame oil. All the sesame oil you buy at Asian grocery stores in Australia from roasted sesame seeds, okay? Because I've had people ask me about like whether they were like raw sesame oil that you buy from health food stores. No, all Asian cooking that calls for sesame oil almost invariably, well, as far as I'm concerned, invariably refers to roasted sesame oil, okay? When I say pure sesame oil, it just means a purer form of roasted sesame oil, not pure sesame oil as in like unroasted, crushed or whatever, however you extract the sesame oil, okay? So that goes in there, and rice flour. I need a tablespoon of rice flour. Now, if you can't get rice flour, use corn flour or something like that, okay? That will work just okay. rice flour you can get at Asian grocery stores again. You can't see it, sorry, this steam is just getting in the way. Rice flour, they come in bags like this, they cost about $1 each. And there you go, so a tablespoon of that, and I'm going to add water to this, just over a cup of water. Okay, so this goes in there, and I'm just going to mix this up. If you want, you can just zip this in the blender or something like that. I'll see how I go, I might have to do that too. So far this is what it looks like. Just mix it really well. You know what, I'm going to throw it in my thermocook and just give it a quick whisk. So I've got it here, just pouring it back in. So this is what you're going to end up with, right? Just like a brownie sludgy mix. And this the interesting part comes next. Okay, so remember the beancurd sheets. I'm going to cut them open, and they're all stuck together. They're a little bit fragile, so it's you got to be quite careful in how you pull them apart. Okay, so this is one bag, and there are quite a few sheets in here. So they're all folded up at the moment. And if I can show you, I think there's maybe about 5 sheets in here, I'm not sure. Okay. You can hear them just peeling, right? So there's a couple of sheets here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And I don't usually try and pull this apart because they can actually tear, right? So just see how you go. But you might end up with some folds that you're going to have to live with, like these, okay? If you can't pull them apart, that's fine. So that's 1 sheet, 2 sheets, three. This is a random offcut. 4, 5, 6, 7 sheets, right? 7 plus a little bit of an offcut. And let's see how we go with this. Like I said, first time making it. Okay, so let's see if it works. So what you want to do, apparently, let me see if I can move this away a little bit. Okay. Here you go. Okay, there you go. And you want a brush, okay. So remember, this is just going through the ingredients again. It's got soya sauce, it's got soybean paste or hoisin paste or something like that. It's got a little bit of 5-spice powder, pepper, sugar, rice flour, and tomato sauce, okay. I think that's it. And sesame oil, okay. So you want about a tablespoon of this over here and spread it. I'm going to put a little bit more because it seems like there's not enough here. Okay, so spread it. Okay, now you want to fold it up and stick more on it. And I'm trying to fold it into a square, and I'm trying to figure out the best way about it. Okay, just let me put a little bit more at the end here. Okay. Right. They don't have step-by-steps on how to fold it. Okay, so I'm kind of making it up as I go. Right, so there you go. And I want to secure it with some toothpicks. Okay, hang on. The volume seems to be a bit dodgy. Hang on. Let me just see if I can just move the... Okay, testing. Is this any better? Can you let me know? Finding the audio is a lot quieter than normal. Gay Morgan, I still hear it. Okay. I'm wearing, okay, just let me see if I can try to turn it on a little bit. Testing. Just let me check that I've got the right audio. Okay, this is the right one. Okay, still the same. Hang on. Testing. It's showing up that it's okay at my end, but just let me... Testing, is this better? Okay. Okay, let's see how we go. But I've got the... Okay, hang on. So I'm just going to secure this at both ends, right? With with toothpicks. And I'm going to start steaming this up. I'm sorry about the audio, guys. I'm sorry about that, Gay. It's better? Okay, let's see how we go. I noticed my last broadcast on playback that the audio was quite soft, but I thought it was because of the position of the microphone, because I had it like, let me just see if I can move it a little bit. It's on a stand, but the stand was moving around a bit because of Noah. Okay, I hope it doesn't fall off. I just broke off the strap that it was sitting on. Okay, let's just brush this and fold it half like this. I know that the ingredients in this particular recipe are a little bit off the beaten track, guys, but it happens sometimes, you know, depending on the recipe. I notice a lot of Americans use ingredients that I'm not familiar with, but these are the kind of ingredients we can find at Asian grocery stores here quite easily. So hopefully this will kind of like help you next time you do a little bit of a shopping expedition. Okay, just to know what to look for and all that. I'm starting to fold this quite randomly, by the way, because like I say, I don't know if there's a set technique for folding this, because there's no step-by-step in the cookbook that I bought for this. Okay, but hopefully it tastes okay. And I'm just, like I said, securing this, because that's what the cookbook says to do. And I'm going to throw these. This is a fairly sloppy exercise, by the way. Just steam them up. You're supposed to steam them for about 10-15 minutes, I think. And you're really meant to only use 1 tablespoon per layer. It seems a little bit like sparse to me, that's why I'm putting probably closer to 1.5 tablespoons, but I may regret it later on, we'll see. Okay, and a little bit up here, maybe. And fold it up like this. Okay, toothpicks. And Gabe, if you're still watching, I gotta talk to you when you get the time about the thermocook, because I'm going to be doing some stuff with it. Hopefully within the next few weeks. Yeah, I'll talk to you a little bit about it later on. Let me get another tray for this. This amount of sauce is meant to be enough for about 10 sheets, so I would almost certainly have extra after this, okay. But this seems easy enough to make, assuming it turns out and tastes nice. So this is something you can make for your vegan friends, you know, next time they come around for dinner and you're stuck for ideas. And if you can't find that fermented bean curd, right, and the other thing I've got to mention as well, the fermented bean curd, in the recipe, it actually called it red cheese, okay? But on the label here, it says red bean curd. But essentially, it's fermented and it's red in color. So there are 2 types of fermented bean curd. You'll see on the shelves, they'll be next to each other, and one will come in a jar that's all like, you know, a dark red hue, and the other will be, you know, the liquid will be like kind of like fairly clear. And you can see the bean curd like looking yellow, and that's what's called the white bean curd, okay? White fermented bean curd. I don't know if you're Sayan, you use this in Filipino cooking. Okay, so that's that. Let's finish these off. I just joined a church here locally because I'm quite new to this area. And one social initiative they have at this church, which actually works out quite well for me, is that they have what they call take a meal or something like that for people in the church community who, for whatever reason, can't cook for themselves, you know, say because they've just had a baby or there's illness or something like that. That actually works out quite well for me because I've got all this food, and all these months now I've been like, oh, what am I going to do with all this food? So hopefully someone can eat this. Okay. How's that going? That's looking quite good. Let me just see if I need to flip it over. Okay. What I might do is actually just line the lid with a cloth, just so that the steam doesn't fall back onto the food and end up getting it all wet and soggy. So I've got my last 2 sheets here. Like I say, first time trying this recipe, so I'll let you know after the fact whether it works. If you're based in Sydney, certainly I know other parts of Australia have their own Asian hubs as well. I know, I think the Fitzroy in Melbourne. But if you're in Sydney, there's some grocery stores in Sydney. I don't know if they still have it. I saw them for a while. But at the checkout counter at the grocery store, you might see like these takeaway boxes of this kind of stuff, of vegan Asian food. It'll say like, you know, vegetarian duck or vegetarian chicken or vegetarian whatever else sort of thing. So you can buy them as, you know, food for you to take home and heat up and serve. Because the whole, like I said, the whole vegetarian genre is quite big in, you know, in countries with a significant Buddhist community. And in fact, if you go to Asian grocery stores, the bigger ones will have sections in the freezer or the refrigerated section that are actually, that basically sell all kinds of different vegetarian meat type stuff. They call them mock meat, okay? So you might find vegetarian beef, vegetarian mutton, vegetarian this and that. And the way you use them, because there'll be like chunks of like, you know, different colored products that are made of either wheat, gluten, or made from tofu, right? And the way you use them would be, because they're in chunks, like meat chunks sort of thing, you would use them in whatever it is you're cooking, instead of the meat that would otherwise go in that recipe, right? And I used to use those for some of my vegan dishes, because I used to produce a range of vegan frozen meals for a vegan food store here in Australia. Okay. And I stopped doing that because I found that with people who go vegan, right? People who go vegan generally are vegan for a variety of reasons. A lot of it has to do with allergies, right? So it's not always good enough for you to say that this does not contain meat, okay, or dairy. They might expect it to be free of a whole bunch of other stuff as well, like gluten, like carbs, like, you know, nuts and whatever else, okay? So it became harder and harder for me to cater to that particular demographic. Okay, let's see how this looks. Okay, let me just turn this down and take that out. I'll throw the next tray in. And I'm going to pat these dry, and then I'm going to deep fry them, okay? But let me just clear a couple of things out of the way. Okay, so I've got the oil. I'm going to stick it on the stove. In case you're wondering what all that beeping noise is, it's if you can hear it. So you haven't seen a beancurd skin from where you're at. Oh, that's really strange. I always expect Filipino cooking to be not too different from Asian cooking, but I'm amazed from talking to you, Cyan, how many things you're not familiar with. I guess maybe the Philippines are a lot more European influenced in your cooking than I expected. Okay, so that's the oil. I'm going to move this a little bit out of the way. And just let me clear my table a bit. So much more peaceful without Noah. And by the way, these things like hoisin sauce and even the soybean paste really should be refrigerated after you open it, all right? Same with oyster sauce, make sure you refrigerate it after you open it. Soya sauce, I never bother. Okay, paper towels. So I've got the oil here. I'm just going to heat it up. It's actually already warm, but I'm just going to heat it up, bring it back up to 10. Okay. There's one thing I have to say about this Sunbeam tabletop cooker is that it's very powerful. Okay, so there you go. That's what it looks like steamed, right? I'm just going to pat it dry. And if you can't find this particular variety of beancurd skin, you know, the flexible one, you can use the stiff ones. Like I said, you just got to soak it to soften it up and then pat it dry so that it doesn't become too sloppy when you put the sauce over it. Okay, got it. You're technically meant to air dry this before you fry it up, but that's going to take hours, so I'm not going to bother. Okay, so this is heating up. I'm going to got a couple more things for this. Just needs to heat up a little bit. This little portable stove, I always complain about how slow it seems to take to heat things up, but you know, it's only a little camping stove. So yeah, this particular cookbook, I'm going to be referring to it a lot because, like I say, it's got some fascinating recipes here. It's got vegetarian or vegan char siu. If you like your barbecue pork, this is a vegan version of it that I plan to make one of these days. I wanted to make it today, but I've got a dinner appointment later on tonight, and it seems like one of the steps involved letting the ingredients kind of like proof for like half an hour or something like that. One of these days, when I have time to do a really long broadcast, I'll do something like that, okay? Just turn that off. I'm guessing the steam stuff are going to be ready. Disconnect that. If there are any particular recipes you'd like to see, vegan or otherwise, let me know and I'll factor it into one of my future broadcasts. Just comment on it, like on the comment section. Okay. And again, if you're watching this anywhere else except Twitch, you can find me on Twitch, which is just twitch.tv/JackieMFood, or the short URL is just JackieM.live, L-I-V-E, okay? So this should be hot enough. Not quite. Not quite, it'll get there. Okay, so these are the rest of them. Patting this dry. And if you're new on Twitch, or even or you're new on following food streams on Twitch, maybe there are a couple of other great food streamers that I know of. There are probably others that I don't know of at this stage, right? But two good ones that I know of are R-Patra, R-P-A-T-R-A. Go check him out. He's a professional cook. He cooks for a living. And he makes all this fantastic like steaks and all that sort of stuff. Another one is The Hunger Service, one word, right? And he used to be a professional sushi chef. So go check out his stream. He does a lot of both Japanese and American stuff. Very, very interesting. If anyone knows any other good Twitch streams I should follow, let me know. And I will check them out. And I will give them shout outs here as well. Still needs to heat up some more. Let me just find something for it to go on. I'm tempted to just, I'm tempted to dry out that steamer, tip out the water, dry it out, and add the oil in there because it'll be a lot faster. A vegan satay recipe. That's actually that should be easy enough. I will add that to my list. That's a good point actually, vegan satay. Yeah, okay, easy, done. Maybe next week. This looks very this looks a bit odd. But basically you want to crisp this up, right? And then once it cools down, you're going to slice it up and you should see nice layers of red in between. And the flavor is meant to replicate, like I said, the roast duck, the Chinese roast duck. You know, similar to Peking duck, that sort of stuff, those kinds of flavors. Okay. But vegan satay, yeah, let me give some thought as to what I should use for it best, okay? But as far as the seasoning and the sauce and all that, that'd be easy. See how quickly it puffs up when the oil is hot. Move this a little bit out of the way. I don't want it spattering all over my laptop. Okay, all you want to do is really just to crisp up the skin, okay? So you don't need to fry this till till it dies. And in theory, the rice flour in the sauce should basically kind of coagulate and help everything kind of stick together. I don't know if I've steamed them long enough for that to happen, but maybe the oil, the heat from the oil might help it along a bit as well. I'm confident in the flavors because they do sound like the sort of stuff we would use in the roast duck, right? I'm just curious to know how texturally it turns out. Because obviously, like, beancurd sheets are quite, you know, they're like sheets as opposed to something that's fleshy. So, let's see how it turns out. Sorry for all the beeps. I'm actually dealing with a separate issue. Of the 50 million things that I do, okay, if you don't know who I am, I used to own a restaurant. I have got a Down syndrome kid who's at preschool today, thankfully. I gave up the restaurant to look after him primarily, but since then I've been involved in a whole bunch of other things, and one of them is I'm a co-founder of a video streaming startup in Indonesia. I know, kind of random, right? And we just migrated our servers, and we're having database issues with it. So my co-founder's frantically trying to solve it. Just like 2 minutes before we went on there, I was telling him I can't get onto the website, and like since then he's been sending me a whole bunch of messages that I can't respond to because I'm doing this. But yeah, even when the website comes back up, go and check out T for Tom, EEB for Bob, TV.com, and that's actually the startup that I'm co-founder of. Okay, like I say, is our target audience is Indonesia, so some of the content is Indonesian, but we've got like we've got content from all over the world, including a bunch of Swedish cult horror movies that we're about to release on our platform. Quite interesting. And we're on target to hit 1 million views pretty soon, in the next couple of months. So, a lot of exciting stuff happening there. But like I said, because we just migrated the servers a few days ago, we're having all sorts of problems with things not functioning properly. And don't forget, guys, I'm trying to catch the comments from everywhere, but the one place that I can monitor the comments from is from Twitch, right? So if you're watching this anywhere else at all, if I miss your comment, that's why, right? It's because I can only currently watch the comments coming from Twitch. And if you want to make sure you don't miss my broadcast, follow me on Twitch, which is the short URL of which is just jackiem.live, and just click on notifications on so that you get notified when I go live next time. So these time zone changes and with daylight savings coming on and off and all that, it's hard to keep track. I have trouble keeping track of when I'm supposed to be on. Okay, there you go. This looks like it's it, but let me see if some of these have cooled down enough so that I can cut them up and show you what it looks like. Just let me move the oil out of the way. So this is my pile of vegan roast duck. Okay. Okay. You will find that they do continue cooking even after you take them off the oil. Okay, so they will continue to brown up and crisp up. the toothpick. Okay, it just looks like sheets of fried beancurd. Let me cut some more. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I can't really see the color filling in between. Okay, the flavor tastes great. It's a little bit chewy in parts. And a little bit crunchy in others. I kind of feel like it needs something like more meaty to hold everything in place. Because the sauce seems to have just kind of like completely been absorbed through it instead of coagulating. You know what I mean? But the flavor is great. So let me think through about how we can tweak this recipe some more, and then I'll post it on the website and you can give it a go. But this would go well with rice or something like that. So something you keep in mind. Or when you've got to prepare for a dinner party and you've got some vegan visitors or something like that. I think they'll really like it. Okay, well there you go guys. Thanks for this, another nice and short one. But I'll see you next week. So my next broadcast will be my time Monday. This time, like 12:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, which is 9:30 p.m. Is it? USA? Not sure. Anyway, go check out my channel. We'll have a link where you can work out your local time. Yeah, any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you in a couple of days. Thanks, guys. Ciao.